guys and video game fans, welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Brinker, and today I'm going to review the latest video game adaptation, Uncharted. This movie is directed by Ruben Fleischer and stars Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, Sophia Ali, Tati, Gabrielle, and Antonio Banderas. Street smart Nathan Drake, played by Tom Holland, is recruited by seasoned treasure hunter Victor Sullivan, played by Mark Wahlberg, to recover a fortune amassed by Ferdinand Magellan and lost 500 years ago by the House of Mukanda. This movie is based on a really fun adventure series, Uncharted, probably one of the most popular PlayStation games ever. I love the Uncharted series. Like, the first two are really good, but I think the third one and the fourth one are the best in the series in my opinion. I couldn't pick them between because I love those games so much, and this movie definitely referenced those games, and I'm going to be completely honest, I wasn't that pumped for this film. I thought the trailers looked absolutely terrible. I thought the cast is very misleading, and also, it's a video game movie. Not much video game movies have been the best. There are some decent ones. I think the best one, I would say, in my opinion, is Detective Pikachu. I thought that's a very good movie. That's probably the only video game movie that I find pretty good. But the rest either have been decent or really terrible. So, Uncharted can go in all those ways, but I wasn't that excited for this film because the trailers really look that bad. Like, I didn't like how the trailers is edited, but there's one little thing that I'm like, okay, this movie could be at least a fun movie. It's Ruben Fleischer directing this film. Hopefully I say his name right. He directed the Zombieland movies and the first Venom movies. I really enjoyed, especially Venom. So, it could give me a bit of hype, but I just thought the trailers looked very crap and cheap. So, went into this movie, low expectations, and I walked out of it really freaking surprised, actually. I honestly really enjoyed Uncharted. Is this a perfect movie? Absolutely not. This is a video game movie. It's not something that you think is a masterpiece or anything. If you just want a simple, entertaining adventure film for 2 hours, I think Uncharted will be for you, because I think Uncharted is a very entertaining film. I think my positive with this film is the cast. I thought the cast in this movie did good performances here. I think Tom Holland was great as Nathan Drake. I really was surprised because, I'll be honest, he's a flaw in the movie as well, at first. And then when I saw this movie, I'm like, okay, he actually was really good in the film. And I think it's because of Tom Holland. He has that excellent screen presence where you find him so likable and charming in the film. He definitely plays Nathan Drake very well. You feel like he is a Nathan Drake type guy. I thought he does a really good job in the film, even though there's a flaw with the casting, which we'll get back to that later. Mark Wahlberg also as Sully. I really liked his character in the games. I was really worried about this casting of Mark Wahlberg playing this role, but to my surprise, I thought he was very good in the film. I think his chemistry with Tom Holland really stood out for me. I think their chemistry is really well done. I like them two together. They're very likable together. They always talk back and all that stuff. It provides some really good jokes, and I think Mark Wahlberg does a good performance in this film as Sully. Also, to my surprise, Sophia Ali as Chloe Fraser, another cool character in the games. I thought she does a cool job also. I thought she was pretty badass in the film, and she also has a great chemistry with Nathan and Sully in the film. I thought their chemistry was a very good job in the film. I really liked her character in this film. The action scenes are actually surprisingly filmed very well. There are some really cool action scenes in this film. This is definitely a fun adventure film that definitely pays tribute to a lot of adventure movies, you know, like Indiana Jones or The Mummy. It's one of those movies, and I like those films. Those films are in a special place in my heart. So Uncharted does a great job of getting me invested in this adventure that Nathan Drake is going. There are some good jokes in this film, and also, I love the way this movie looks. It looks like an adventure film with the color palette, and the cinematography, I thought it was very good. I think Ruben Fleischer directed this movie very well. It's just a simple, safe video game movie, and it's something that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting this movie to basically be a cash grab, to be completely honest with you. But what this movie does a great job is the pacing. I thought the story of this film, it wasn't boring, it was mostly just fun, and you just liked every single character in this film, for the most part. There are some characters I didn't like, which I mentioned down the flaws, but if you just want to see something entertaining and simple, you'll like this film. I think this movie is not for everybody though. I think if you're hardcore Uncharted fans, you're going to be very nitpicky about this film, because this film really doesn't feel much like the games, even though this movie does provide some Easter eggs from the games. But it's a movie for people who just want to see a fun adventure film, and honestly, I walked out of it okay with that. I really appreciate what Uncharted brings us. Even though this movie is not a perfect movie, it's not even a great movie either. It's just a fun, entertaining movie. I think One of my biggest flaws with this film is that the story we've seen so many times before. It's a story that most adventure films have. You know, there's this artifact, they're looking for it, the bad guys are trying to get to it too. It's something that you've seen many, many times before. Also, some of the casting, like the rest of the cast in the film, weren't that great. Like Antonio Banderas playing the villain in this film, I really don't buy him in this film. I love him as an actor. I love Antonio Banderas. I thought he's a great actor. But in this film, he really has nothing to do. He's just being the villain, and he tries to have a motivation in the film, and I honestly didn't really care. And I would say, even though I love Tom Holland and I love Mark Wahlberg in the film, I still think the casting is very misleading. I think there are other actors that could have played these characters much more better. I honestly want Nathan Fillion to come back as Nathan Drake. Remember that short film? That short film was badass, and it makes me think, if they do a live action Uncharted, I want him to be casted. Not to say I don't like Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg in this film. I thought they were fantastic in this film, and I loved them for what they are. But I just think the casting could have been at least a bit better in my personal opinion. And yeah, this movie is pretty predictable. Like, there's a lot of moments that are kind of like Fast and Furious, you know, to go for these ridiculous action scenes. They're entertaining, don't get me wrong, and there are some really cool references to the game, like the plane scene. I thought that's really cool. They referenced Uncharted 3 with this awesome plane sequence as well. That is so accurate to the games, and I thought that's very cool. But it's a movie that's very predictable. It's something that you can just watch it with your, like, mind, like, out, you know what I mean? Like, not thinking about seriousness, just have a fun time. But that's also a problem. It's predictable as hell if you're not a fan of these types of movies. Overall, guys, I gotta say, Uncharted was a big surprise for me. I thought this movie was very entertaining. I think the performances by Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg is fantastic in the film, even though it's a bit miscasting. I still like them in this film, and I thought they have an excellent chemistry. I thought the action was great. It's a fun, simple adventure film. Like, if you want to see something entertaining, just a simple adventure film, I think Uncharted would do that for you. And obviously, this movie has some end credit scenes that's leading up to a sequel. And I'm not gonna lie, I definitely want to see a continuation for this movie. I actually kind of want to see this movie as a franchise. I wouldn't mind that. Overall, Uncharted was just an entertaining, fun time, and I'm going to give Uncharted a B. So guys, that is my review for Uncharted. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. And what is your favourite video game of all time? Let me know that also in the comments below. And do you like the Uncharted games? Also let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Keep contact with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel notified for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. And have a nice day.